We begin this morning with a major blow for Nikki Haley. It happened this weekend. The former South Carolina governor lost her home state primary to Donald Trump by about 20 points. The former president won about 59% of the vote to Haley's 39%, but she hasn't conceded. Haley is campaigning in Michigan today ahead of tomorrow's primary.
Our Ed O'Keefe is following all of this for us from Detroit. Good morning, Ed.
Chanel, good morning. The former president dominated the South Carolina primary, winning among men, women, the young and old, and predominantly rural and deeply Republican parts of that state. But the campaign goes on, and Haley isn't going anywhere. She's here in this battleground state of Michigan, rallying with supporters today.
Former President Donald Trump may have won big in South Carolina, but the state's former governor, Nikki Haley, says she isn't going anywhere.
You can't have a candidate who's going to win a primary who can't win a general.
Despite losing her home state, she's now on a 10-day nationwide tour with more than 20 campaign rallies and fundraisers. As Haley's campaign says she raised another $1 million in the hours after the South Carolina finish. Haley says she represents the concerns of Republicans that Trump can't win over.
He's not going to get the 40% if he is not willing to change and do something that acknowledges the 40%.
Michigan's Republican primary is next on Tuesday and is open to Democrats and independents. Haley supporters we met cross party lines and want her to keep going, like this Democrat.
She's the only one that could part the Red Seas of Trumpism.
And this Republican.
She doesn't have all of the court cases and drama. She is a person of character. She's a person of integrity.
But a national conservative group that helped campaign early for Haley plans to stop spending on her because we don't believe any outside group can make a material difference to widen her path to victory.
I have never seen the Republican Party so unified as it is right now.
Meantime, Trump's Friday night comments to conservative black voters in South Carolina are still drawing controversy.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see. That's how far I've come.
He also claimed his dozens of criminal indictments are boosting his standing with black voters.
We've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible.
The co-chair of President Biden's campaign blasted the comments as moronic and just plain racist.
Now, Haley may be bumping up against a mathematical dead end in her quest to get enough delegates to stop Trump and somehow seize the nomination from him. We'll see what she can do. But there is some silver lining in the exit polls from South Carolina, where once again, 1/3 of Republican primary voters said Trump would be unfit to serve at the White House again if he's convicted of a crime. Chanel?
Ed, thank you. And CBS News campaign reporter Taurean Small joins us now from Charleston, South Carolina, with more on this story. Taurean, thanks for being with us. I want to start with asking you, what went wrong for Nikki Haley this weekend in South Carolina? I mean, why couldn't she clinch her home state?
Well, she saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. Weeks ago, Nikki Haley changed her message from winning in her state like she has done before in statewide races in the past to at least just closing the gap between her and Donald Trump, partly because this is now a party that is molded well in the image of Donald Trump. So she knows that this is Trump country, even though she was the former governor and a popular former governor at that. Her campaign, though, would call this a win. Again, her only goal was to close the gap. Polling had her down 35 points to the president. The tally ended up being 60-40. And in her words, that isn't necessarily a mandate for the former president. If you have about 30%, 40% rather, of the electorate deciding that they would rather go with an alternative.
And Taurean, let's tee up tomorrow's race. What sets Michigan voters apart from some of the other early primary states?
Yeah, so Michigan will be interesting, right? So it's a swing state in many ways, but for the Republican side, it's Nikki Haley's next chance at, remaining a competitive and viable candidate. She's going to continue to make the pitch like we've seen her done in New Hampshire, in Iowa, and in South Carolina to those more moderate Democrats who might not be interested in Joe Biden and independents. The former there, those disillusioned Democrats, also will play an interesting part in this primary for for Democrats. There's been a push to vote uncommitted instead of for Joe Biden, in part because of his response to the war between Israel and Hamas. If this does play out where we see a significant vote of the electorate, Democratic electorate, say that they aren't necessarily satisfied with Biden, he might have to shift his strategy moving forward in order to retain some of those progressive voters moving forward.
Okay, all eyes on Michigan tomorrow. Taurean Small, thank you.